ॐ ह्रीं नमो अरिहन्ताणम्। ॐ ह्रीं नमो सिद्धाणम्। ॐ ह्रीं नमो आयनियाणम्। ॐ ह्रीं नमो उवचायाणम्। ॐ ह्रीं नमो लोये सबसाहोणम्। ऐसो पञ्चनमोकारो सव्वे भावे परासिनो मङ्गलाणं च सव्वेसिं परमं हवै मङ्गलम्। परमं हवै मङ्गलम्. We'll recite 9 times. Om Rishabhai Namaha. Om Rishabhaya 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 Namaha. Before starting the new slok, we will recite first the 4 sloks. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all of you can recite it together. Bhattamara pranite mauli mani prabhana Mudyotakam dalite papetamo vitaram Samyak pranamya jine pade yugam yugada Balam balam bhavajale paditam jananam Yah sanstutah sakale mayatat prabodha Dudbhute buddhi padubhi sure lokanate Stotre jagatritaya chitte harairudhare Stoshe ilahamapitam pradhamam jinendram Buddhya vinapi vibudharchite pade pitha Stotum samudyatamate vigatatra poham Balam vihaya jalasanstitamendu bimba Mannah kayechati jana sagrahetum Vaktum gunane guna samudra sashanke kantan कस्ते क्षमः सुरगुरु प्रतिमोऽपि बुद्ध्या कल्पन्ते कालपवनो दातनक्रचक्रम् को वा तरेतुमलमाम्बुनिधिं भुजाभ्याम्. Today we will discuss about the fifth and the sixth slok. So here first we will recite the slok. So hum. It says so hum tathapi so hum tathapi tava bhaktiva soham tathapi tava bhaktiva shan munisha soham tathapi tava bhaktiva shan munisha kartum stavam kartum stavam vigata kartum stavam vigata shaktirapi kartum stavam vigata shaktirapi pravrittah kartum stavam vigata shaktirapi pravrittah. Again we will recite the both two lines. Soham tathapi tava bhaktiva shan munisha kartum stavam vigata shaktirapi pravrittah. Prityatma virya prityatma virya mavicharya prityatma virya mavicharya mrigo prityatma virya mavicharya mrigo mrigen dram prityatma virya mavicharya mrigo mrigendram nabhyeti kim nabhyeti kim niज शिशो nabhyeti kim niज शिशो परिपाल nabhyeti kim niज शिशो परिपालनार्थम The whole slok will recite. Soham tathapi tava bhaktiva shan munisha kartum stavam vigata shaktirapi pravrittah prityatma virya mavicharya mrigo mrigendram nabhyeti kim niज शिशो परिपालनार्थम. The whole slok we will now sing. Soham tathapi tava bhakti vishan munisha kartum stavam vigata shaktirapi pravrittah प्रीत्यात्मवीर्यमविचार्य मृगो मृगेन्द्रम् नाभ्येति किं निजशिशौ परिपालनार्थम्. Again once more. सोऽहं तथापि तव भक्तिवेशान्मुनीशा कर्तुं स्तवं विगतशक्तिरपि प्रवृत्तः प्रीत्यात्मवीर्यमविचार्य मृगो मृगेन्द्रम् नाभ्येति किं निजशिशौ परिपालनार्थम्. Now we'll focus on one's meaning. Munisha. What do you mean by Munisha? So here said, O Lord of ascetics, tathapi, even so, so that I, vigata shakti, it means powerless, api, yet, tava stavam. Tava stavam means your praise, kartu, to perform, bhakti vasha, inspired by devotion, pravrittaha, are inclined, mrigo, the deer, atmavirya, its own strength, vicharya, without considering. Next comes pritya. What do you mean by pritya? Out of affection, having so much affection. We cannot just calculate how much affection is there. Nija sishu, its offspring. Its offspring means to their kids. Paripalanartham, to protect. What deer is doing? The deer is trying to protect his offspring out of affection. Kim, doesn't. Mrigendram, in front of whom? In front of the lion. Nabhyeti, not go. Indeed, it's go. So the whole meaning of the slok, here it is saying that, Oh Lord, I am incapable of narrating your infinite virtues. You have infinite virtues, but still what happens? Still I am inspired by my devotion for you. I am very devoted to you. That's why what I am doing. I am composing a stotra in your praise. It is well known that to protect her fawn, even a doe puts her feet down and faces a lion without evaluating her own strength. So the reason is love. So in the same way, Acharya Manatung, who is the writer of this stotra, Bhaktama stotra, he is saying that, Lord, my intellect may be a subject of mockery for the intellectuals, because there are a lot of intellectual people, they can think, oh my God, what he is doing. In the same way, they can make they can tease me also, but my level of devotion is not inferior to anyone else. My devotion is very superior, very higher level. Therefore, I am praising you. Intensity of devotion and faith becomes so magnified that intellect became insignificant for him. There is no use of the intellect if the person is having full devotion and faith. So, however, it is said that when impulses of faith and devotion strengthen, intellect become tribal. So here Acharya Manitung is saying, it is well known that to protect her fawn, even a doe puts her feet down and faces a lion, forgetting its own disability. So here Acharya Manitung is saying, I am also the same way. I am having my own emotions, my own feelings, my own everything. That's why I am expressing my own feelings. I think so. Everyone has the feelings and emotions. So, and each person has different type of emotions and feelings. Now, if I ask you how many emotions do you have in the whole 24 hour, just 24 hour, 12 years you sleep. 12 hours you sleep, and rest of the time, sometimes you laugh, sometimes you get scared, sometimes a lot of the emotions are there, sometimes you get angry. So here it is saying that the power of emotions. What is the power of emotions? So here Acharya Manitung is saying emotion act behind every action. In the case of Acharya Manitung, the emotion of devotion was intense. It's very higher level of emotion he is having now. He exclaimed for me, there is nothing to be fearful of. Why I will be get scared? Why I will be get feared? So it is said that even a feeble animal, such as a deer, gets ready to fight a ferocious lion to protect its fawn, be it human or animals, all have a natural tendency to protect their offspring, to protect their children. So they forsake their lives for their children well-being. So here, why the deer, it's protecting her offspring, or why parents take care of their children? Because the intensity of love increases so much that it overshadows fear. So it is saying that I don't get afraid of the lion also. I'm not afraid of anything. So here Acharya Manitung is also saying, my emotion of devotion is of very higher level. So I am not scared of writing a stotra upon you. To Lord Rishabh, he is saying. Now, what happens when you get emotion? Whenever you have an emotion of this type, what you think? That you have a big smile on your face. You feel like that you are full of energetic. You want to jump for a joy. Happiness can be a feeling you can share with anyone. You can have a different meaning also. And happiness depend on upon ourselves also. So whenever you feel sad, what happened? Your smile disappears. You want to go into the bed. You want to just to cry. So here it is said that what happens when the person gets angry? Want to stop the feet, wants to scream and yell, feel like that going to explode. Whenever you feel excited, cannot keep calm, feel like my heart is racing, cannot stop laughing. So whenever it's jealousy, emotions of jealousy, feel angry or sad, feel like no one cares about me, become rudeness. Whenever there is a feeling of disappointed, my smile disappear. I want to stay alone, and the people comes in a bad mood. Whenever the person feels scared, what happens? Heartbeats become so loud. Want to hide in a place that makes me feel safe, and legs become shaking. So here in this slope, what Acharya Manitung is trying to say, that I also have the emotions. Everyone has the emotions, but my level of emotion is very high. So according to here, if we go to the theory of karma, if you see the theory of karma here, so in the theory of karma, what it teaches, that there are we can say two types of karma. One can be good karma and one can be bad karma. So what people is doing, they are earning good karma or they are earning the bad karma. We can see fear and anger are the subcategories of the same karma, we can say. So when the intensity of fear increases, it diminishes the anger. Anger goes away. And when anger rises, the intensity of the fear goes away. A question may arise here. Have you seen the soldier? Why is a soldier not frightened when going for a battle? When he goes for a battle, He does not feel that I am going to die. He can think also that in the battle, I may die and cannot come back. So why it happens? Because of the emotion. What emotion he has? It is because courage, aggravation, and the prospect of defeating the enemy overpowers the impulse of fear of death. Similarly, whenever it happens like a businessman, you can see, or a school, you can see, whenever you go in the school or do anything bad thing which is not against you, it's against you, you are doing that work. So it becomes a fear. If I get caught, what will happen? It becomes greed dominates that of fear. So it is said that emotions are good also and emotions are bad also. But what emotions I am using here, my emotion is very pure. The emotion what I am using here is, it's of devotion and faith. So my emotion is very good. So I am not fear of everyone. So kids should learn that whatever, if you are getting angry emotion also, good, get angry. I'm not saying don't get the angry, but use your emotion in the right way. A joke is there. In jest, a person said to a young man, I saw your wife talking to a stranger last night. The man lost his temper as soon as he heard this. Armed with a stick, he took his position near the door and exclaimed, let her come. I will see her. I will break her head. After some time, when his temper subsided, he was baffled by the thought, oh, what am I doing? I am not even married yet, and what I am thinking. So it is said that increase in the intensity of impulses or emotion decreases the knowledge or reality. We don't know if there is a lot of negative emotions are, we forget ourselves that what we are going to do. So it is not only the body that fights, but impulses fight too. So Acharya Manatung exclaimed here, I will glorify you on the basis of bhakti, on the basis of devotion, without thinking about its own fragility. Even a feeble deer gets ready to fight a fierce lion in order to protect its child. Then why should I be concerned about my mediocre power of intellect? So I am also what going to do? I will also like to praise you. So here is a story that describes emotions beautifully. See, there was a hunter. A hunter aimed an arrow to kill a deer. The deer realized that impossibility of escaping the situation. In pitiful words, it said to the hunter, "O hunter, before killing me, please listen to me. You may take away all parts of my body, but I request you to leave my two breasts. I have two small kids who have not yet started eating the grass. Both are anxiously waiting for me to feed them the milk. Not for me, but have a mercy on my kids and release me for some times. And I'm saying you surely I will come back to you." Hunter thought, who do you think is speaking here? This is the voice of emotions of love. Whenever love, devotion, and faith are intensified, intellect becomes secondary. Acharya Manitum wishes to praise the Lord using the strong emotions of faith and devotion. The resolution, which was shaken earlier because of the inferior notion of intellect got balance with the support of faith and devotion. So whenever you are singing anything, any Bhaktamma Stotra or anything, any Naukar mantra, what we should do? We should try that how much with a faith and devotion I can do Navkar mantra. It's not just verbally we are just reading and reading or reciting any mantra. We should have full devotion in Bhaktamar Stotra, full devotion in Navkar mantra. So here Acharya Manitung is saying, energized by the emotion of devotion, Acharya Manitung now saying he said the value of devotion, that devotion is very important. So in this slok, Acharya Manitung has said this all thing. So now we will sing again this song. सोऽहं तथापि तव भक्तिविशान्मुनीश कर्तुं स्तवं विगतशक्तिरपि प्रवृत्तः प्रीत्यात्मवीर्यमविचार्य मृगो मृगेन्द्रम् नाभ्येति किमनिजशिशो परिपालनार्थम्. So in this slok, it's talked about the emotions, it talked about the deer and the lion. Now we will go in the benefits of the fifth slok. You can see our inner power will increase, improves our vision also, achieves everything, whatever you want in your life. So many of the kids are there, they want a lot of the things in their life. So whatever you want in your life, you can achieve everything in your life. And the number 4 is controls emotions. We can control our emotions. Just to think, if you are having a lot of angry emotions, what you can do, just recite the fifth slok. If you are scared at the night, just recite once time the fifth number slok. Whatever you are feeling that this is a bad emotions for me, just do the fifth number slok and all the emotions will go away. So if you want these 4 things in your life, recite the fifth number slok. Now comes our number 6th slok. So we will do one word now. Alpa, alpa, shrutam, shrutam, alpa shrutam, shruta, shruta, alpa shrutam, shruta, vatam, vatam, alpa shrutam, shruta, vatam, parihase, parihase, dham, dham, alpa shrutam, shrutavatam, parihase, dham, tvad, tvad, bhaktireva, bhaktireva, mukhari, 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 tvad bhaktireva mukhari, kurute, kurute, balan, balan, mam. Tvad bhaktireva mukhari, kurute, balan, mam. Yat ko kilaha, yat ko kilaha, kila, kila. Yat ko kilah kila, madho, madhuram, madhuram, viroti, viroti. Yat ko kilah kila, madho, madhuram, viroti. Alpa shrutam, shrutavatam, parihasithama. Tvat bhaktireva mukhari kurute balan mam. Yat ko kilah kila madho madhuram viroti. Tacharu, tacharu, chamra, chamra. Tacharu chamra kalika, kalika, nikarei, nikarei, kahetu, kahetu. The whole sloka we will recite now. Alpashrutam Shrutevatam Parihasidhama Tvat Bhaktirev Mukhari Kurute Balanmam Yat Kokilah Kila Madho Madhuram Viroti Tacharu Chamrakalika Nikarai Kahetu. Now we'll do the singing. Alpashrutam Shrutevatam Parihasidhama Tvad-bhaktirev mukhari kurute balanmam Yat kokila kila madhav madhuram viroti Tacharu chamre kalika nikarai kahetu. We'll do now one word. Alpashrutam. It means that with limited knowledge. Shruta, among the learned. Parihasidhama, object of ridicule. Mama, me. Tvata bhakti reva, devotion towards you. Balam, forcibly. Mukhari kurute, makes me speak like. Kokilaha, cuckoo bird. Madho, in the spring season. Yat madhuram, melodiously. Viroti, sings a tacha, for that. Kila, with certainty. Amra, of mango. Charu, beautiful. Kalika, blossoming. Nikarai, bunch. Ka, the only. Hetu, the reason, it is said. So here Acharya Manitung is what saying. He is saying, okay. Here Acharya Manitung is saying that despite my incompetence and being a subject of mockery for the competent scholars and intellectuals, I will not praise you. I will praise you, Lord Rishabh. So I'm now praising you, then also I'm praising you. If people wants to make a mockery for me, I don't care for that. The cuckoo sings only after the mango trees bear the sprouts, and its voice becomes melodious only after eating them. Clearly, mango sprouts are the cause of melodious voice of cuckoo. Otherwise, we don't see cuckoo sings all the time. But here, I can see mango. When the mango sprouts come, the cuckoo starts speaking melodiously, singing melodiously. Similarly, what happened? You are the cause of my devotion that has led me to create this stuti. Why did I just create the stuti? Because I am fully devoted to you. That's why I created this stuti to you. So it is said we have many elements in our body which enhance power. The state of intense emotion stimulates the functioning of inner groups of our body. There is one organ in the body, adrenal gland. What does the adrenal gland do? It secretes excess hormones, making the person bolder, and consequently, he is able to do anything. He can do whatever he wanted. So here he is saying that I can also do anything, whatever I want to do. Just like intellect, emotions also have limitations. Emotion alone cannot function everywhere. It is essential to evaluate emotions too. So, how much devotion is there? How much faith one has? You have to think yourself. So whenever you have to think yourself, that whenever you are reciting Bhaktamar Stotra, with how much devotion you are reciting it, with how much faith you are reciting Bhaktamar Stotra. So there was a great poet, its name was Bharvi, and once he said that we should never act on an impulse, means we should never act anything very strongly. If we act out of strongly, we will be left with nothing but only repentance. Lying on his deathbed, great poet Bharvi said to his son, I am leaving an asset for you. The son asked, what is that asset? I am, please say me, son. He wrote a stanza on a slip of paper and handed over to his son, saying, if you get into a financial crisis or any other problem, sell this stanza for 1 lakh rupees. And during that era in the Bharvi, in the long, long period back, there was used to erect stalls in the town marketplace. There was a tradition that after selling items throughout the day, if anything remains unsold with the merchant, it would be purchased by the state. And after Bharvi's death, his son was engulfed by economic difficulties. In those difficult moments, what happened, you see? He decided to sell the verse given by his father. As per his father's suggestion, he went to the market with the note. He hung the slip with the verse at one place. Bharvi's son priced the verse at 1 lakh rupees. Why? Because his father said him that you have to sell this one in 1 lakh rupees. People came, saw the verse, and as soon as they heard its price, everyone said, no, it's not possible because only the 4 lines and you're going to sell this one? No, it's wrong. And now in the evening, what happened? The tradition, the king came, bought the verse for 1 lakh rupees. He got that verse, framed and hung it in his bedroom. Now you see what happened. Soon the king had to travel abroad for some work. He spent many days there and returned home on a dark night. He reached his palace and stepped into his bedroom. In dim light, he was very surprised to see the queen sleeping with a young man. As soon as he saw this, he got furious. He got very angry. In a bid to kill both, he took his sword out from the sheath. Just as he was going to attack, he caught his eyes on the frame. In the frame, it was written some slok. The king was a scholar of Sanskrit. As soon as he heard the verse, he lowered his sword and woke up the queen. She hardly welcomed him. Now he raised his voice and said, who is sleeping beside you? Can't you see me? The queen replied, oh, did you not recognize her? She is your daughter, Vasumati. Today in the theater, she played the role of a king. She came late at night and slept with me without changing her costume. The queen woke her daughter. She got up and bowed to her father. Now the king was thinking, oh my God, if I have done this mistake, what would happen to in the future? So this 1 lakh rupees is also it's nothing for this slok. So it is essential to understand the limit of both intellect as well as emotions. So Acharya Manitum, what he is saying, Acharya Manitum realized its limits and was assured. Only devotion or faith is not enough to praise the Lord. It requires intellect too. Without intellect, the person cannot write any poem, he cannot write any song, he cannot write any stotra. He must have little bit of intellect also. So intellect and devotion should be understand the limitations of each other. Intellect is also important here. Acharya Manatung is saying devotion is also important and faith is also important. But our emotion should be always in the control. But again, Acharya Manatung is saying, my emotion is very controlled. Mantung become completely absorbed in the praise of Lord Rishabh, and with full devotion, what he is doing. With full devotion, he is singing the slok number 6. So here there is a beautiful story, the value of devotion. That what is the value of devotion? Why the Acharya Manitung in the fifth slok and the sixth slok, he is saying that devotion is very important. So there is a story. The outskirts of a Govardhan village are beautiful with fertile plains, the flowing rivers added to the beauty of the land, and the fragrance of the wildflowers fill the air. The sun peeped out from the clouds. A sage once lived in these outskirts. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, the supreme reality. The sage would perform pujas and also do severe taps and all. He was used to do a lot of the tapasya, fasting, and everything. Now, once the sage went to the top of a hill and started to perform a yajna. So Lord Vishnu appeared and he said, my dear son, sage Avasthama, I am immensely moved and pleased with your high devotion. Ask for a boon and I shall grant it for you. What you have done with full devotion, praising, now you tell me what you want for you. The sage got up and fell at the feet of Lord Vishnu with tears of joy. Rolling down his cheeks, my Lord, your presence is like a blessing. I don't want any wish, my Lord. The Lord was touched by the sage words and said, my son, you will always stay with me after your life on earth. You will also meet one of my well known incarnations today. The sage thanked the Lord and he started off the Govardhan village. He was soon feeling careworn and not feeling good and found a tall tree standing near a pond. Let me take some rest there, he thought. He found a group of boys playing near the pond. From the group, a cowherd boy came to the sage. He greeted the sage and inquired him all the details from where you came and all the things he started asking. He immediately rushed through a pathway and returned with a pot of milk. Dear sage, please take this small gift. I would be happy if you accept this. The sage asked, dear boy, how do you know that I was hungry? The boy smiled and said, if someone is tired, hungry, and helpless, one will have the heart to give one possessions. The sage was amazed, wondered, and surprised to hear this beautiful words from the son. And the boy smiled and said, don't you remember the boon granted by the Lord Vishnu? He asked. The sage shook his head. Now close your eyes and think of me. The sage did as he was told. He could see the Lord Vishnu, the supreme reality, followed by the Lord Krishna. The story is that it's not that he made the Lord Krishna, he made the Lord Vishnu, and the story goes on very big. Again, he go on the second rock, which was painted silver, and the story goes on very big. But the conclusion of the story is that if one walks in the path of righteousness, dedication, devotion, determination, one will find love and the fruits of their devotion. So we must have always devotion while reciting the Bhaktambar Stotra. So here in the sixth slok, Lord Acharya Manito is praising to the Lord Rishabh that maybe I am having very less intellectual, but my devotion is very strong. So we will recite again one time this slok. अल्पश्रुतं श्रुतवतां परिहासिधाम त्वद्भक्तिरेव मुखरे Pranam Yat Kokila Kilamadho Madhuram Viroti Tacharu Chamra Kalika Nikaraika Hetu. And now, what's the benefits of this slope? Removes the darkness of ignorance. There will be no ignorance in our life. Opens the light of wisdom. If any one of you thinks that my brain is not, I'm not so much of intellectual, I cannot think a lot, the best slok is for the knowledge is this sixth slok, Alpa Shrutam. It improves your IQ, enhances memory, improves concentration, improves the learning capacity. As much as you want to learn, you can learn. Get success in competitive exams. The kids give a lot of the competitive exams are there. So before going in the exam, just recite once time for a one time this 6-number slok and you will get success in your competitive exams. Removes all the negative thoughts. There will be no negative thoughts in the life. You can feel energetic. So these are the benefits of the number 6 slok. So if any of the kids think that I am lacking this all qualities, so it's better to recite the 6-number slok and you will feel within yourself, within 3 months, you will feel that you have improved your knowledge, you have improved your IQ, you are getting success in everywhere, improving your learning capacity, and you are getting success in your competitive exams and all. So, what are the life lessons we can learn from the slok number 5 and 6? Say, from the 8th slok, we can learn something. So, from this slok, what life lessons we can learn? Number 1, never stop trying to better yourself. Always try to make better and better yourself. Listen to the voice inside your head. What's it saying? What's it's not saying? Always have positivity in every situation. It increase virtues. As much as you will recite this number 5 and number 6 slok, you can increase your virtues that can have, as Acharya Manitung had, infinite virtues. We cannot have the infinite virtues, but we can have the finite virtues. Lord Rishabh had the infinite virtues. We cannot just count it also, and we cannot just say from the words also. But limited amount of virtues we can have to ourselves. And number 5 is control emotions. And this is very important point, because if we don't have the control in our emotions, lot of the bad things can happen in our life. And if we are having good emotions, we can see that there will be lot of the success we can get in our life. And this last one is devotion and faith. How much devotion and faith we can show to our Lord. We can show the praising to Lord Risha. We can show the praising to the Tirthankars, to the Naukar Mantra. Whatever the stotra we are doing, we should do it with very devotion and faith. So whenever we will do anything with devotion and faith, this all the qualities will come to ourselves. So it is said that always we have devotion and faith towards the Lord, towards the Tirthankar, then we can get success in our life. So this was the discussion of number 5th slok and the number 6th slok. So one story is there of the devotion of Lord Rish, that how much there must be devotion in our life. So first of all, I would like to ask you all, I hope every one of you understood. It's good. So there's a very beautiful story is there. See, deep inside forest, a pregnant deer was about to give birth. She looked here and there and found a remote grass field near a river. She thought of it as a safe place, and just the time she was about to go that way her labor pain began. Some moment, you see what happened. Dark clouds gathered above the lightning and occurred, which started the forest fire. Forest fire also has started. Deer looked to its left and saw a hunter approaching her with a bow pointed at her. And just after that, when she looked towards the right side, she spots a hungry lion, which was also approaching her. Now, looking at the circumstances, what can a deer can do? If we think of question, let's think what will happen. Now I will ask you all the question, what the deer will do now. Left side also there is a problem, right side also there is a problem, both side there is a problem. Now the question can arise, will deer survive? Will it be able to give birth to the fawn? Will fawn survive? Or we can also think, will everything be burned by forest fire? Or will she die of hunter's arrow? Will she be ate by lions approaching her? Lot of the questions can come in our mind. Now the pregnant deer was boxed in by a nature and his predators. What should she do? She was thinking, what can I do? What can I do? Just then, deer just focus on giving birth to a new life. His concentration was very strong. The deer was only thinking that I should focus only on giving a birth to a new life. A healthy fawn was born. Both mother and child were safe. But how? You see, how it happened that left and right and up, everywhere there is a problem and problem only. So the event happened, lightning strikes and blind the hunter. As lightning struck, the hunter got the blind. As the hunter arrow was released, at the same moment, it zipped past the deer and strikes the hungry lion. Now, just same time, it started to rain heavily, and the forest fire was stopped by the rain. We can see that deer priority in that movement was to give birth to its baby. Rest was not in her hand, and even if she would have changed her focus and gave any action or reaction, getting scared to circumstances would have likely resulted in death. So what does this story say us? What is the moral of this story? In our life also, there are times, and life is very big life. Now you all are maybe, some maybe 10 years old, some maybe 13 years old, 14 years old, and some maybe adult also. So in our life, there are times when we are confronted on all sides with negative thoughts and possibilities, but still in midst of any storm. We should focus on doing what's important thing to do at that time. Should always keep faith and devotion towards the Tirthankar. So any problems come, any circumstances comes in our life, just what we have to do, just focus what we want to do in the life and just have faith and devotion, that how much faith and devotion I can show towards the Tirthankar, towards the Lord, or whoever you believe the more, you can have the faith and devotion, and that work will happen automatically fine. So Om Arham. So now I have a request to all the kids, whoever want to recite the slok from 1 to 7, just they can raise their hands and they can recite the slok so that I can listen their sloks also. Or otherwise, if you are not raising your hand, I will call their name.